Welcome everyone to Black Voices Through Poetry. I'm Lisa Martin, and we are so happy to have you joining us. Our host today is Poet Brenda Bunting, joined by Buddah Desmond and Sistah Alford. So you are in for a treat. So let me pass it on over to Brenda. Take it away, Brenda. So happy to have you.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to see the faces and the features and everyone. I'm so excited that we are able to do this event. Thank you so much to Lisa and SSTCI for continuing to promote cultural diversity and recognize the importance that all voices are heard. And we know that we celebrate 365 days of Black, but this has been relegated, especially for Black History Month. I see a lot of beautiful poets who I'm thinking who are going to read. If you would like to read, if you would just send me your name right now, because we do have so many people. I would love to hear from everyone. So we'll do one poem. And if you would just put your name in the chat, that way we can get the open mic going. And that would just be fantastic. So a little bit about Black History Month, the theme, some of you may know, some of you may not, is of course Black resistance. And I just think it's so important that we recognize from the very beginning, when our enslaved ancestors were brought over here for servitude, that they resisted the whole way. And our soul of human yearns for freedom, no doubt about it. Every man, woman, child yearns for freedom. And that is, I feel, a God-given right. And no one has the right to take that from another person and force them to do something that it is that they don't want to do, whatever it is. So the soul of the African rose up many times to fight and resist, all the way to the point that we have the freedoms that we have now. And what I do see as we continue on this journey of freedom is our young people have a disconnect. Some of them are aware of how precious freedom is and how important it is, and some of them are completely clueless and not understanding that it's an ongoing fight for freedom, and that it is something that we must be vigilant about. We can't be neglectful. You just think about what's going on with Florida, right? You have that going on, the whole thing. But then you think about Wes Moore, who just became the first African-American governor of Maryland. So, we have all kinds of things that are happening. So without going on and on and on, I'm actually going to read a very short poem. I was going to read a kind of long poem, but I want to hear from everyone. And so I'm going to open it up with a short poem, and then I'm going to and then I'm going to start calling on our speakers, and then we're going to hear from our wonderful features. So this poem, I didn't really title it, but like I said, it's very short. One Black African, two upraised hands, three words, Black Lives Matter, every child, woman, and man. Four little girls perish as they pray in a Birmingham church, grieved unto this day. 5 Black men beat another Black man to death, 5-fingered fists raised in protest. 6 days into January 2021, an insurrection of discontent from angry white sons. 7 days of work with no rest in sight for those who are weary but continue the fight. 8 is the sign of infinity, an infinite question of why. 9, we circle back again. 9 killed in a church while they prayed. It was worth it, the white supremacist declares to this day. But the power of 10 is a multiplication of 1. Black mothers bear 10 Black sons. So that's real short. All right, so we're gonna bring our first speaker up to the mic, and that will be Mr. Bernardo. thank you so much for letting me know that you wanted to share. And if you'll go ahead and turn on your mic, we will now hear from Bernardo for our first.
We already heard from Brenda, man. What are you talking about? Powerful, sister, powerful. Love it. Okay, I'm gonna do following. Following is an idea of so many things. I'll let y'all make it because I'm short for time, so I ain't got time to explain. Catch me somewhere else and we can break it down. I stopped following her ever since I heard of Nigga Jim. Being unsure of what happened to him, maybe I should Google or ask Siri or Alexa, was Huckleberry Finn an abolitionist? Did he protect the secret of where Jim was? Sometimes a secondary character becomes too much for one to ignore. A book can make you look into the time and place, embrace and yearn for more information. We all come to these vehicles with different destinations, then these temporary stops or spots to disembark, hearkened by some clue to move on. We do. I stopped following her ever since I learned of them washed up on the shore, dashed against the rocks, in shock that the sweetness they imagined, the beacon of freedom fashioned in song presented so pure was no more than an illusion, calculated conjecture. There was no perfection waiting a place for their dreams. Were they able to scream, I wonder, when the waves took them under, or when they opened their mouths for their griefs to swarm out, then awakened to doubt and conclusion, their hope there would be no solution, no release. Were they able to perish in peace? I stopped following her, along the road at least, as the barking of dogs did increase. I heard you could wash your clean your scent, so in the water, that's where I went. Slowly, so slowly, to avoid the sound of splashing. My ankles, my calves, my knees, my thighs, my waist, my chest, my shoulders, up to the base of my eyes that I go slow, 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 slow. Though my heart moved much faster. Mastering my breath, I motioned my arms to move on, remembering tales of the river song, baptism and cleansing, and ships. Too far I'd gone into memory as I then remembered the whips, the change, the stench. These images raged as I fought with the waves to continue. The ache made its way through muscle, through lungs, into sinews, and just as I began to slip away, I saw him. Let's call him Jim. He was on a raft. He whispered, you must mask your fear to clear your mind so you survive. And due to him, I am alive. And though he was illusion, in my moments of confusion, he called clearly unto me, you are free. The river calmed. I heard the song. I swam and came to be. Ashe.
Ashe. Oh, thank you so much. That was wonderful. I mean, you never disappoint as usual. You bring it, Bernardo. That was awesome. Such a great way to start off. And so for our next speaker, we are going to hear from Slangston Hughes. If you want to go ahead and unmute your mic, we're looking forward to hearing your piece.
Hello, everyone. My camera has been doing some sort of weird effect all day, so hopefully that doesn't continue. It's really interesting how certain poems come back whenever it seems like we need them the most. A line that really resonated with me from a poem a long time ago, when the last poets must have been the last poets, It's like the same sagas continue, the same struggles continue, and the same poems have to continue to be written in different forms. So this is called griot slang. Moonlight and high tide in our veins, a middle passage filled with hurricanes, screaming in a Black woman's voice. Even an ocean couldn't wash away our blood. What makes you think your whiteness can wash away history? White people calling my poems angry. It's like lighting a fire in a forest and being surprised when that shit burns. The Black of my poem too loud to live in between the literary of your white pages, like how our mother tongue was made orphan inside our own mouths. So we make the king's English blade to behead the king with, like we ain't poem in the flesh, like our hearts still beating despite all the death around us, ain't the loudest revolution you've heard yet. The way a mouth tries to move mountain with metaphor. This ain't a poem, more like a shotgun propped up on my lips. But heaven forbid we be too Black in classrooms where professors will attempt to edit the melanin out of your stanzas, where passion and rhythm are synonymous with not well written, or not diverse enough in tone, or too divisive in tone. Or how about I write a gaslight and make you question the sanity of this tone? Metaphors too militant to be considered canon, so you take aim at what you don't know. This polemic not palatable enough for the academy to hold, but when the personal becomes too political, our stories aren't allowed to have a home. Cracker, please, fuck out of my face with all that mayonnaise flavored ass prose trying to be poem. Dark skinned in my mind, so I write dark skinned poems, nigga. The gangster of my speech, nigga. This poetry got teeth, nigga, and I'm going to eat, nigga, 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 nigga. Say it 30 times a day, it make my beard grow bigger, which is to say, nigga, as in Black joy, as in void of whiteness, and all of its shit, our skin replenished by the sun while you run from it. You say you don't see color because if you see colors, you have no choice but to admit the difference between the prisons and the prisms within them, the earth and the snow that melts in it. I'm sorry, so many metaphors. The difference between the colonizers and the colonized, the color of lies and the truth they try to hide. Yet you want me to ignore race in my work the way a shark wants its prey to ignore its mouth and the teeth within it. I'm sorry, again with the metaphors, or the way grant money becomes suddenly available after city blocks burn, or how Baltimore got ignored until our voices turned arsenic, until our prayers got mislabeled protests, riot in our breath, how Freddie Gray made the difference between Black and white in a city so obvious. It's not hyperbole when we say Black don't crack, because y'all done hit us with everything from whips, gats, and crack, and we still ain't cracked. Warning, triple entendre on the way, from birth of a nation to gentrification. No matter how much white they put in the hood, the true hue of your history will always be Black. So the next time you try to limit my literature, just remember how lit this shit really gets. A burning page in every quote, break beats and smoke, a Mary Baraka and Black chakra in a group piece called Dope. I'm Frederick Douglass with a Black wife and a rhyme scheme embedded inside every speech he ever spoke. Hand grenade in my throat, ready to set fire to every white ass poem ever wrote. And I don't even care, nigga.
That was awesome. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. That's what I'm talking. That is Black resistance right there, live and in living color. Thank you so much, Slangston Hughes. That was everything. And you know, the energy, woo, it makes you want to jump up and go do something. So thank you for that powerful piece. Thank you to the poets who are just bringing it in the virtual space. Just absolutely such a wonderful acknowledgement and nod to our ancestors, such a wonderful acknowledgement and nod to the perseverance of our spirit. Just fabulous. So yeah. Your video did not detract at all. Okay, so we are gonna have Mr. D. Allen read now, and we'll get your screen share like you were asking. I think we can do that. If you want to go ahead and unmute D.
Just did. I'm getting this white box and it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
No, I enabled it.
Cool. Screen share works.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss Martin. This is a new poem called Overcome. Try as devils might to change the look of the big picture passing itself off as democracy. They can't remove us all. For the longest time, they have used abandonment, brutality, criminalization, displacement, enslavement, force-fed false history, gentrification, harassment, intoxication, jokes told, spite in disguise, Ku Klux flaming cross night rides, lust toward our girls and women, mass murder, negation of our views, or police intimidation, Queen's African beauty devalued, religion, Christianity passed down by pilgrims, sterilization, terrorism, unity broken, vicious discrimination, white imperialism, exiled credit for our contributions, youth killed before age 25, Z, last letter, last considered, first targeted. All the tricks implemented on us, and yet our people are still mating. Our women are still breeding. Our people are still here. Our culture is still here. We have overcome endeavors by devils to whittle our number to nothing. We have overcome. It's been a long, arduous walk on the road to progress. Reacting to muscle memory, repeatedly hurtling over obstacles we didn't design over time. We look forward to thriving the next 400 years and what they may bring. We look forward to days of joy, seeking pleasure we deserve, not to forget about oppression, but to surmount oppression before it regains ground to conquer spirit. By having the best times of our lives, be loud, be lively, be talented, because they can't silence us all. We have overcome, and whenever possible, we'll do it again. And that was a new poem called Overcome for Raul James, Lantern Carrier, Safongo Zamkanto, Elemental, Midnight, Rose Gold, Stacey Artist Dyson, and English poet and activist Zita Hollaborn.
Awesome, Dee. Thank you so much.
Overcome.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. I'm telling you, man, this is food for our soul. This is the nourishment that we need. We have been through so much, just, with COVID, with isolation, with people dying, with sickness, with violence, with crime. And then for us to be able to gather in this virtual space and just feed one another, just the good richness of these words is just amazing. Thank you so much.
Without a doubt. From this mic to your ears, I'm Dee Allen. Thanks for listening. Every month is Black History Month.
Absolutely. That is absolutely right, Dee. All right. So we have just have wonderful speakers. Okay. So right now we are going to hear, and forgive me if I mispronounce your name, Dr. Blanche Kabengele. If you want to go ahead and unmute.
That is so sweet. Everybody has trouble with it. It's Kabengele, and if my husband said it, it would be Kabengele. So we're going to say it my way, make it a little bit easier. Hello to everybody I'm here from Cincinnati, Ohio. And I just got to get this poem off the printer because I was thinking I wanted to read. The opportunity for us to, as poets, come together is not always easy. And here I am in Cincinnati, and I think you guys are all in the DC area. So anyway, hello guys. So I wrote this poem, I believe last year or the year before. And my epigraph on this poem is something Hassan Kwame Jeffrey said a couple years ago. And he said, although we teach them that slavery happened, we fail to provide the detail or historical context they need to make sense of its origin, evolution, demise, and legacy. And so when I read that, I said, hey, I gotta put my little 2 cents in here. And here we go. It's called Missing. American history books buried from omission the significance of Black history, packed deep forgotten memories, like what made Bart beside his hat black, like the demise of Reconstruction and Black Wall Street, like memories stored in the cellars of history books, flung Black homage towards making America great again, found missing pages, paged uneventfully between jazz and peanuts, void significance of the many contributions toward building the riches of this land, like babies snatched off mother's nipples to suckle free, sweet land, less liberty, like Black history barred from omission, the truth. Black history is American history. Thank you.
Wonderful. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you all the way down from Cincinnati. I know that spot. I know it well. I have people in Lexington, Kentucky, so you're not that far away. And like people are signing up. Like I said, if you want to sign up to read a poem, you are very welcome to do that. We still have some slots that are available. So right now we are at speaker number 5, and we're going to go ahead and introduce one of our features, and that is going to be our very beloved Sister Joy. She is the inaugural Poet Laureate of Prince George's County, Maryland, and has authored 3 poetry collections. She is currently editing the inaugural, you know what I mean, PGAHC Poetry Anthology, Poets That Dance with Words. She has hosted and produced the nationally recognized poetry cable television program, Sojourn with Words, which is just awesome, since its inception in 2005. She has served as president of the Poetry Ministry of Ebenezer AME Church in Fort Washington, Maryland since 2003, and is the founder of Collective Voices, an ensemble of native Washington, DC poets known for their poems of social consciousness, empowerment, and spirituality. And you can see her bio in the chat. All right, so we're gonna hear right now from the wonderful Sister Joy.
Thank you, Brenda, and welcome everybody. Thank you all for coming out this evening. I have 4 poems that I hope I can fit in. If I'm running out of time, Brenda, just shoot me a note in the chat and I'll try to make note. First poem is titled Reflections. Reflections. We must look back. Vision, you see, is predicated upon the universe in which it is formed. To see tomorrow's vision, to dream, eyes must have a frame of reference, a vantage point through which we assess what is. But not only eyes, minds, and hearts. Indeed, souls can be lifted by vision and cursed by lack of it. So we look back, name and claim our mornings as freely as we seek the glory and glee of victories, not to dwell in yesterday, nor she in us, but to gain from her legacy, good or bad. Ancestors, elders, and tomorrow's seed yet born, each has or shall witness with earthly short-sightedness that which limits vision to all this side of the Jordan. So whether we be born strong of spirit or weak of flesh, we are the same. And since neither war nor any of the isms which afflict mankind prevail beyond the grave, neither free nor slave escapes the final call. We can only look back in prayer and faith that tomorrow brings rebirth, in hopes that before or after we return to earth, some purpose is made clear, some deed aligned with need in a way that allows our fellowship to lift one another, that perhaps someone rejoiced in our being, that at least one was helped or healed by our walk. We look back with herald or hurt and are proud because we endured, we overcame. For looking back discloses through time's final looking glass of revelation our true tomorrow. Okay, so that was my first. The next one I'd like to offer is, let's see, tracks. Railroad tracks bearing whistle-blowing beasts, promising all manner of dreams, cross the backyards of Black folk for lots of seasons and reasons. Those double-lane dream chasers were our means to realities held in wait. So we thought. Our fathers and their fathers before waited on folk dressed in ways our folk had only seen in magazines. We waited for them to come back, tell us about the goodness and glories of up north. They withheld truths that denied them their manhood, took to their deathbed, to the grave, the price they paid, rather than tell their children of wretched realities, truths of sleeping on tables that served cocktails and fine meals to others just a few hours early, eating food left behind by a finicky child, chasing nickels and dimes, or on a good day, a quarter tossed high to please children and adults who'd laugh to see just how high or low you'd go, desperate to grab it before it rolled like your dreams out of reach. Never told of the cost of comforts you brought back home, what it took to get away from plantations and sharecropping, away from trees adorned with unnatural appendages, magnolia, poplar, and willow trees that littered the South like dandelions in a poor man's backyard. Trees sapped of their natural beauty as they displayed Black bodies for little children and families at Sunday picnics and county fairs. No, fathers and grandfathers never told what it took to take journeys in those steel beasts, invisible at best, but having to smile. Porters always had to smile while being demeaned and demoralized. It was enough to bring home trinkets and treasures from faraway places. And sometimes more money made in 1 month than a year for folks forced to work farms not theirs, or making ends meet as best as Black folk could, living by those tracks. But through it all, they held tight to the light that showed them a way from yesterday's pain, trying to find something better. Sometimes just a way was enough, only to find things like ghettos, slums, disease, breakup of families, landing in foreign lands with no roadmap. But then they had been conditioned, made accustomed to such. For most already had forgotten connections to shores separating them from ancestors, from tongues that made music and melody, from memories of a rich life. Tracks were laid in the sand long ago. So how were they to know those same tracks would appear on arms, stream from eyes, travel down brown cheeks of mothers cradling babies while standing on auction blocks? Tracks have become etched in the souls of Black folk, trying to track their way back, find their way after hundreds of years and lifetimes, back to what has become a vanishing vision of what must have been truth and beauty in another time and place called home. Let's see, my third poem that I'd like to offer is titled Step, Reach, Claim, Climb. Let me get it right. Step, reach, climb, claim. Bright with tomorrow's promise, burgeoning within you, dust will rise from your powerful stride. So step graceful, sure-footed and strong into your destiny. History has waited long to hand you her keys, asking only that you remain true to the knowledge and honor handed you, asking that you step into your tomorrows, embracing and honoring the foundation laid by elders and ancestors who sacrificed, prayed, made ways for your dance, sway, graceful as the willow with its deep roots nourished by the life's rivers and her storms. Honor those who will follow you, for each step connects them and you to ancestors who knew somehow this day would come. They celebrate and pray for you, as do we, those who now step back and witness with awe the miracle that is you. So yes, be confident and sure as you rise. Step, reach, climb, claim your star. Remain strong in knowing this is your time. This is your destiny. And my final piece is one that I offer in celebration of love and of Black history. It's titled The Couple. The couple. Their rippled, veined, clasped brown hands told a story of connected lives. Their witness of oneness was more than beautiful. They may have had tough times, but they conveyed to the world, and more importantly, to each other, that in every manner that mattered, that they were one. Their union, unbreakable. Their faith, unshakable. Folks spoke of it often. Their journey had taken them places neither had known before, landed them in that sacred space called home. Not a physical place, but a place revered by families around the world. Theirs was sanctuary, safe, nurturing, holy. They'd come to accept and expect. How often folk would speak of their glow, knowing it was not merely their golden years, but their connection, seen even from afar. Throughout their journey, they learned to be true. Commitment came natural now. In this place of trust, they both blossomed. The way to this day, they actively seek synchronicity of purpose, ensure no detail is ever overlooked. Both willing to do whatever it took to please, honor, uplift the other. For you see, they are one. Journeys like theirs, tried by trials, fortified by prayers, blaze bright for generations. Their togetherness is a most lovely and loving thing. And when transgressions came, as in life, they most likely will, both ached, instantly sought healing and forgiveness rather than blame and retribution, understanding that grief is very real, but lasts only as long as you allow it to. Unlike true love, which lasts forever. Yes, they are a couple. They are one with beautiful, brown, rippled, veined, clasped hands. Thank you so much, Brenda, for allowing me to share this Black History Month moment and to hear the other wonderful poetry I'm enjoying as well. Happy Black History Month, everyone.
Thank you so much, Sister Joy. It was just such a wonderful presentation that you gave, and your words and the power behind them and the beautiful imagery. It just the word nourishing comes to mind. I just keep thinking about that, you know, the being fed by the soul and how important that is for all of us, for our mental and emotional health. And you certainly brought it. So,
well, thank you. That was very much what I was hoping, to have something for the younger and the elder, and something to acknowledge the trials of the past, but to offer hope for the future. So I hope I've done that today.
I think you have done that. I think everybody here in the virtual space would definitely agree. So yeah, wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Well, we're just going to keep rolling along. We do have a hard stop at 7:30, and we do have some more speakers to come to the mic, as well as our second feature will be up shortly. I couldn't ask you all for a more wonderful program of just rich talent and voices, just uplifting, just what the title says, Black Voices Through Poetry. And just, you know, I'm loving every moment of it. So without further ado, like I said, forgive me if I say your name wrong. We're gonna hear from, I wanna say Salim Abdul Khalik, if you wanna go ahead and unmic and, I'm sorry, unmute and share. Look forward to hearing your poem.
Okay, hi everyone. How are you doing? So I'm coming at you from New York City. I'm not in the DC area, at least not today. I will be actually on Friday. So the poem is called Hear Me. I could write long intellectual sonnets, flexing my esoteric muscle, creating parameters within parameters, astounding critics and snobs alike, rambling on and on and on and on, proving I am not of the masses, earth wonder, grandfather of beginnings, word molder of change, change, our lives champion. I could strive for ambiguous references of multi-layered post-speak, but our children need real ideas to grow. Quick knowledge and soft sounding sounds to make think the mamas and the daddies who need fast dream words with real, I know that's right, reactions. I could write sonnets, but why?
All right. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. And I love the ending. Thank you. Absolutely. That was great. All right. So we will be moving on to our next speaker. We have, it looks like we have a couple of spaces open too. I want to say we have about 3 spaces open if someone who did not sign up wants to sign up. Janique Mulcaberry, you can unmute. I'm sorry if I butchered your name.
It's Janique Muckleveen. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Do I need to turn my camera on?
Yes, please.
I'm going to read a poem that I wrote. And it's called I Am Poem. Hello, Sister Joy. I am the 29.5, the 37.5, the working poor, with all the inaccessible privileges that go with it. Healthcare benefits don't include vision or dental, utilizing share programs at churches, free lunch for students offered by the school, grab and go bags at Glenarden and Bladensburg community centers. My son received his PEBT card in the mail without submitting an application. I am a descendant of mitochondrial Eve, the mother of all human beings. I am a native-born citizen of a country that gave smallpox blankets to their Native American hosts, corralled them into reservations, claimed their homeland, and enslaved African people stripped of culture, land, children, family, native tongues, and religion. Family separation is not new. It is standard practice. I wonder if my granddaughter's granddaughter will march with her, shouting, "Black Lives Matter," at the tender age of 2. fighting for equality just as she has done, just like her mother, who started when she was 3 in the Million Woman March of 1997 and continues to do, as I do, as my mother does, as her mother had done too. I want human life to matter more than gold, silver, diamonds, oil, bitcoins, and rich men traveling into outer space. I worry when my children leave the house. My son has been stopped by the police for sitting in his car waiting for a friend at a shopping center parking lot because one of the store owners did not recognize him until they had him get out of the car. Afraid to sit in a commissioned car wearing a commissioned shirt outside of CAB in the passenger seat, parked in the no parking space, asked to wait by a non-melanin enriched coworker. After Rodney King, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Freddie Gray, Sandra Bland, before Botham Jean, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor. I moved the car to the parking garage and walked back to the door to wait for them. I try to be kind in everything I do, giving what is needed, not nice. That gets you what you want, but kind, genuine, sincere, compassionate, honest, and true. I hope the minority mindset ends, that we are recognized and appreciated as the global majority that we have always been, meeting people where we are, each of us moving into the middle of our comfort limits as we uncomfortably grow in a place of understanding together. I am the 29.5, the 37.5, the working poor, with all the inaccessible privileges that go with it. I am Black, I am a woman, I am majestic, I am real. Without my tangible crown, I am a queen. And even in the darkest of places, my light still shines. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was absolutely so powerful. And like your voice resonated, you know, what it was that you said resonated so much. I really appreciated that. And it was just such a testament to the intelligence that it's so refreshing, and it's so important for us to know. We need to know where we are. We need to know, you know, where we stand, what our power is. We're not entirely powerless, that and how our voice matters. And I love it when I see it, because so many of that's what our young people need now. You know, they need to see those living examples of people who understand what is going on. So thank you so much for coming and sharing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so we are going to go ahead and we are going to have our second feature. And I have been just looking forward to seeing this young man for some time. It's been a minute. And that would be Mr. Buddah Desmond, also known as B-Des, is a writer, poet, artist, singer, entrepreneur, and health and wellness advocate. His writing highlights the gritty side of life while offering messages of hope, love, healing, and resilience. His writing has appeared in numerous publications, including Move, Muse, Melanation, Mixed Mag, Lit Mag 2020, No Lie Left Behind, Osama Saberescom, it's a website, and Asana Sana Volume 1. He is the author of 5 poetry projects: Prevail, Poems on Love, Life, and Politics 2012, Exotic Shifter 2014, From the Inside Out, a Poetry Collection 2020, Shifting from the Inside Out, Love Poems 2022, and Everything I Missed at Home 2023. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Buddah Desmond.
Thank you so much, Brenda. This has been an amazing event and awesome poetry tonight. I'm so happy to be here and to take part in this event. And happy Black History Month to everyone. This first poem has somewhat of a long title. It's called Ghosts, Ghost Busting History, Visible, Invisible Lives, Freedom is Ours. Covered in the blood, blessed, praised, adored with oohs and ahs for what might call our supernatural powers and abilities. Yet beneath the adoration, we're deemed disembodied souls. Ghosts, immaculate for show and tell, for milking and misappropriation, for capital interests and bottom lines, yet demonic and sacrilegious when we demand the dignity and respect all beings created by God deserve to receive. Dispirited, ever ghostly, most invisible. We rise up and they ghost bust, to exterminate that which they don't want to see, to disassociate from that which they can't bear to concede. Ghost busting is their band-aid, their ego stroker, their power sustainer. As we know, without proper healing, sores and pain remain. And as we know, you can act like something isn't there all you want, but there comes a time when you can ignore it no more. History wasn't meant to be comfortable. There were atrocities and inhumanities from sea to shining sea that we can't ignore. Some still happening to this day. And while some will proclaim it wasn't all bad, we know it wasn't all good either. In the wrong hands, history is rewritten to block out the true history, her story, and their story that binds us. These hands set out to make our visible lives invisible. These hands ghost bust nonfiction, turning it into best-selling fiction that has so many misled, pimp-slapped, and hoodwinked today. These hands dare anyone to speak out and criticize their recrafting of history. For punishment is swift, shameful, and at times lethal. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Excuse me, Father, they know exactly what they're doing. There's a reason why ghosts and spirits roam. To right wrongs, to vindicate, to fight for injustice, and they will not rest until their mission is fulfilled. For every uprising, every protest, every rally, every boycott, every march, every sit-in, every strike, every campaign, every cultural, political, and legal battle, every blackout, we will not rest until our lives are no longer invisible. Freedom is ours for the taking, and our freedom, oh, our freedom, we're taking it. All right. This next piece is called Black Magic. Blackness in full view, open and vast, varied and rich, not hidden in the cloak of your lies and shame. Blackness doesn't need your acceptance or validation. It just is, as it is. And my, what our Blackness is, full-bodied power, a vivid cultural mosaic, intricately woven, connecting our past, present, and future. My experiences are too often judged, rarely understood. If I let you tell it, my story wouldn't be. My existence, my truth, buried, annihilated. At the other extreme, you tried to tell my story better than me myself. Praise to the gods that there never is and there never will be a substitute for the real thing. My story, our story, more hype than virtual reality, Afro-futuristic dreams. We live them every day, casting spells before you can comprehend. Black girl magic, black boy magic, rocking it like no other before, during, or after. Forever an enigma. Keep them guessing, as my mom always says. And just when they think they figured you out, flip that shit. My Blackness is unapologetic, will not turn down for your comfort. It's everlasting, just like the storied journey passed down from my ancestors. Label it haughty or narcissistic. It's simply self-love, Black love, and Black pride. The strength and resilience of my Blackness is unbreakable. As the blood I share with my brothers and sisters, forever catching our fires like Sonia, yielding the fire within, bringing beauty and beyond to the world, and making history every day. Now, that's Black magic. All right, this next piece was written right around the time that the pandemic began, and it's called Corona Team, Between These Walls. Immunocompromised between these walls, sick and demented between these walls, going stir crazy between these walls. Streaming is currency between these walls. Self-care is a necessity between these walls. Running out of snacks and time to re-up between these walls. So hard to keep hand sanitizer and disinfectant wipes stocked up between these walls. Who's going to deliver the goods between these walls? Worry and frustration is real between these walls. Furlough got me looking for a new job between these walls. Dat Rona got me rethinking the pros and cons of stimulus checks between these walls. Don't know how long we'll be isolated between these walls. Thank goodness for video conferencing with family and friends between these walls. Want to break free from these walls. Yet it's safer, but sadly, not for all between these walls. Doing my part between these walls. After that Rona passes over, we'll think twice the next time I leave these walls. In a time of immense uncertainty, anxiety, worry, fear, and grief, I'm ever grateful between these walls. All right. This next piece is called The Beat That Stole My Heart. You've kissed my present space with a zest and freshness I've never known before. Got me thinking about treasures the future may hold, but I don't want to get ahead of the beat. I want to fall into it, sit with it, dream with it, sing to it, whack to it. Your beat is in harmony with my beat. Our energies are twisting and turning. It's rock and soul and jazz and hip hop and the blues, a symphony with lush walls of sound. As we play, I realize you're the beat that's stealing my heart, and I can't let you get away. All right. And this next piece is called Black Nation. Ain't moving, ain't leaving. This be foundation, this be salvation, my emancipation. Ain't asking permission, ain't seeking validation. This be affirmation, this be formation, my beautiful Black nation. Ain't looking back, ain't falling back. This be present conscious, future forward. This be blessed, highly favored, and flavored, my liberation. Ain't hating, ain't discriminating. This be loving, this be welcoming, my rhythm nation. Ain't keeping that which serves no purpose. Ain't settling for nothing but life's richness and goodness. This be rebirth, this be new earth, my constitution. Ain't moving, ain't leaving. This be me, this be we, my bold, beautiful, proud Black nation. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Oh my gosh, that was wonderful. Thank you so much, Buddha.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I mean, your voice, this has just been such a good program. Oh my gosh, just so full of richness and just wonderful. I can't I can't say enough good things about it. I'll think of all these wonderful adjectives later. It's like, oh, I could have said this, but that's okay. Okay, so moving right along, we're going to continue. We do have some time left and we have some more speakers. I'm loving this program. I'm so glad we're recording it because sometimes you want to go back and take your time, with a piece, and just savor it over again. You know what I mean? It's just like eating a favorite meal or something like that. So next, I'm so excited that he's here. We're going to hear from Analysis. And if you want to go ahead and unmute, looking forward to it.
Thank you, Brenda. Hey, everybody. Good to see you. I'm sorry my lighting has me looking so ghost-like, but thank you to all the poets. Good to hear you. Always good to come together. In this particular month, we do remember that there are those who, even if we were in person, would not have been able to come together with us. And that is, of course, all the sisters and brothers on the inside, as the old folk used to say. Because of the oppressive and very racist criminal system in this country, and so this next poem tries to remember that, as well as migrants and immigrants to this country who were likewise disrespected and likewise people of color. The old folk used to say, Paul and Silas, bound in jail, sing God's praise both night and day. And I hope that Trump might blow me home to the New Jerusalem. I hope it does blow them home, although seized in the marketplace of human capital. But right now, all I hear trumpeted are blustering boast about being tough on crime and misleading media made to maintain some manufactured war on drugs that keeps officials chasing the scream of those in need while ignoring their cries for help. Thus, cells swell. More dwell in them here in the land of liberty than anywhere else. Even the smallest or most repented for of offenses could get you caught up in the maze of mandatory minimums. This mandates a story, at minimum of telling a truth, because this situation has many doing time, and time keeps on slipping into the future. We want to fly like an eagle. But all we see is the new Jim Crow in the societal cage, with human rights perverted in the presence of the Most High, human rights deserted, people missing, broken families cry, millions on the inside near forgotten. Do we ask why? Seems like folk could care less how they got there or if numbers die in deplorable conditions, their lamentations being met with lamentable lies. Oh, sure, the rulers speak pretty words about equal justice, but modify their verbs to contain no action. Their sentence structure is unbalanced, with a biased renoun that predicates a belief that people of color and poor whites are to be relegated to a subordinate clause. Pardon my grammar, but that ish just ain't right. And the only corrections I see are the glaring ones that need to be made to this criminal injustice system. Both public and privatized prisons are run like rental companies, with individuals treated as junk for storage. This arrangement might have you hauled away, but this ain't Mom's Attica. It's the sand quintessential squelching of souls, with no renaissance of freedom in Florence, more like a crucifixion of lives, and Angola 3 up on crosses of falsehood, fear, and greed. Even the Nazarene would catch the Folsom Prison blues under these conditions. Imagine if the carpenter had to sing a song of stolen liberties. Countless commune in his name, yet act as if the least of these are mere unleavened, worth passing over. Take 2.2 million of the Creator's loved ones locked up in the US. Add them to the 21 million of God's children, many just children, parted around the world as chattel, driven by the trade in forced sex and labor, and you got gridlock on the road to any rights, with nobody moving freely. Up next, human traffic and weather. Or not, you choose to reroute your eyes around it, it's still there. Wonder why this absurdity is so out of control? Follow the money. The prison industrial isn't that complex when its context is clarified as corporate players monopolizing human beings like tokens after they land on go to jail. It's easier to figure when you factor in the foolishness of police districts blowing up their bookings and filling beds. See, this is slavery by any other name. Oh, wait a minute, Brenda. Wait. The loophole in the 13th does call it that, doesn't it? Well, there it is. As easy as 1, 2, 3. The strikes you get before being struck out of the full roster of citizenship. Sent down to the minors, disenfranchised. You don't even get that many swings if you're the away team trying to play in the home park of the privileged. Hardworking folk forced to flee their forebears' farms due to falling prices fashioned by free trade agreements, or fleeing violence fueled by arms forged in northern factories and Faustian pacts between Alf Federal and its nefarious friends. Thousands go through hell to get here, only to arrive in hell. Surprised? Well, you won't hear tell of this too much, how welcoming government quells this, trying to keep it on the slide. But now detention is a family affair, with everyday people rounded up together, then torn apart. Parents and children made separate, but equal is the pain in their hearts. They were hoping this country would want them to stay, but they discovered that even here, not everybody is a star. For them, there's no hot fun in the summertime because they got iced. So while they made to dance to the music of orchestrated racism, they look for allies to help take them higher. Question is, will we stand with them, doing everything we can so that their God-given dignity is respected and they can be themselves again? We are the ones who must make the earth quake. We are the trumpets that must make the wall shake with justice that opens doors and blows the captives home. Indeed, we might be the next captives. So either we lock arms with those on lockdown or our spirits languish. Our action is of seismic importance. We better not blow it. The selling of souls, that's spelled with a C, the selling of souls.
Woo! All right. Indomitable analysis. Oh my gosh. Yes. You just gave us a whole, like you need to come teach my middle schoolers about what that poem you just read. Fabulous, man. I come through. I know, man. I know. It's just, I love it. Just this whole event just shines with the intelligence and the understanding and the recognition of how deliberate things are. You know what I'm saying? It's not just happenstance, and it's like, oh, you're just not working hard enough, but things are more deliberate than we think they are, much more deliberate. And it's naive of so many of us to think that it's not that way. Like, oh, I just can't get ahead because I just didn't make great decisions. And yeah, that's right. Analysis is the right name, man. Woo, love it. All right, so we got a few minutes left and we got a few more poets. And everybody who comes to the stage, they are bringing their, the virtual stage, they're bringing their unique gift, whether they have, just something to share from their heart, or they have something that they've crafted and, it's just very professional sounding. It's all in the spirit of love and acceptance that we welcome our poets. And so we don't want anybody to feel any kind of way, because sometimes when you come behind someone, you're like, oh my goodness, really? So right now we're gonna have Miss Patrice Smith unmute, and she's gonna be our next speaker.
Okay, I should feel good, right, after analysis. All right. So my poem simply gives homage to someone who deserves it, and that's Harriet Tubman, a great woman, and who we will never forget. So it's called Descendants. We are Harriet's children. We who have followed our ancestors' trail by running tirelessly up the beaten path time and time again, having only to still face countless obstacles that continue to confront us at the crest in the midst of our stoic quest to reach greater heights.
But just like Harriet, we too have remained relentless in our pursuit. We've been on a mission, persistently pushing onward with abundant hope and unshakable faith in search of the brightest stars to guide us, even when only a glimmer of light was casted onto our unknown path. After many years of earnestly striving and standing in lines too long to measure, only to be overlooked time and time again, and while waiting outside doors that most often kept us unfairly shut out, we have finally arrived at places we're proud to be standing, and we're wearing the stories of her legacy. We have siphoned Harriet's fortitude and strength into our veins and gathered enough of it to make remarkable breakthroughs and significant achievements in so many fields, astounding those who thought and said we could never and we would never. Despite all odds stacked against us, we kept climbing higher, never quitting as we ascended the mountaintop, though sometimes we've had to stop and rest, reevaluate our plan, and reach deep down for more fortitude that we keep in our reserve so that we could forge on toward a higher calling that can't be ignored. These inner qualities have made us the courageous, the bold, the brave, and beautiful people that we are and will always be. We remember our ancestors' arduous journeys and difficult plights, their weather-beaten hands and calloused, bloodied feet, as they trampled along through many nights facing danger of forceful evil, images that are forever ingrained in our minds. And our hearts celebrate each of their victories. Let us never forget. Their blood runs hot and fluidly through our veins, and the sting of their painful past can quickly resurface in our own tear-stained eyes whenever these memories are retrieved from places not too far away, looming in our past. So now we will continue to walk in their footsteps and stand on their shoulders with sheer dignity and pride. And yes, we'll also give thanks to the same Almighty One who saw Harriet and our people through all those long days and uncertain nights. It is we, the children, who will continue to determinedly cling to the past and proudly pass the torch to future generations in hope that they too will continue the good fight for freedom, equity, and equality. For we will never forget, and we can never turn back. We are all Harriet's children. Yes, indeed, we are they. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Patricia. I love that. We are. I love Harriet Tubman.
I do too. My heart.
As soon as you, I was just like, oh my gosh, it's such an amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such an amazing person she was. Just like outstanding. So I love it. I love that you did that tribute. I love how you read it. All of that. It's all good. Wonderful. Okay, so moving right along, we are going to hear from a very accomplished and wonderful poet, Catrice Greer. So if you want to go ahead, Catrice, and unmute.
I'm here just trying to figure out how to mute myself. Thank you. All right, can you hear me okay? Wonderful. So I was trying to decide whether to do something fiery or loud. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me. Right?
Patrice, there is an echo. I think maybe, do you have two different feeds coming in possibly?
Hold on. Yes, hold on.
Okay.
Is that better? Okay.
Yeah, you sound good now.
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm going to do something for healing since we're really close to the end of the program. I was going to do something fiery, but I'd like to add the balance. This poem is called Mama Mends Us, and it was a poem that was nominated for a Pushcart Prize in 2020. And I think it's worthy to add a little balance to our poems of resistance, since our peace and our healing are also resistance. Mama Mends Us. We girls fly home to our mamas again for braided hair and brown sugar lace, baked bean kisses and hugs for time. Time to remember that we are priceless princesses, not $5.95 8x10 glossy spread open at the crease, laying still for all and waiting for anything but our pages to be turned over. Our glossies now dull, our edges shorn and tattered by feigning eyes and hands, groping, kneading her fingers now in my hair, now kneading close to the scalp. My trembling fingers fall too close to the edge of a scar-flecked heart. No, I am a leper. Fingers interlacing themselves with wounds encrusting a reservoir of stagnant pains, slowly healing. We girls fly home on a 747 impulse to know where it was we were supposed to be going. So images of your strength, Mama, come speeding at the wing. A little compass compassion to pass on, and little understandings bear the gifts of directions wrapped in smooth, hushed voices. Pearls. We string her voices together, we wear them round our necks like precious stones, totems to carry us, totems to pass on. Full mouths of color, busy open fans spread before us, hovering away pain like afternoon heat, cloaking fervent prayers. We kneel together and she calls God like church on Sundays. We fly home on tattered wings broken by unloving winds. Mama mends us, and so she heals. Mama mends us. Apothecaries for our souls. Mama mends us. She, the mama, heals. Mama mends us. We fly home to our mamas to learn to bury and not marry our dead. We are not weak, but learning to love ourselves and to share that love. We are not weak. We fly in blues and in greens, earth goddesses, winged crones to combine strengths, loves, and build homes for the homeless, our sons and our daughters. We girls, broken hearts still beating, pushing us on, tattered wings that unravel in gusting winds fly. Broken in strength, we continue to fly, pushing to home. We heal ourselves. In love, Mama mends us. We are not weak, just learning to need ourselves, just needing our mamas, pushing to live, to fly. And so she heals. Mama mends us. And so she heals. Mama mends us. Pushing. Mama mends us. Pushing. Mama mends us. And so she heals. Mama mends us. Mama mends us. Mama mends us. And so she's healed. Mama mends us. Mama mends us. Mama mends us. And so she healed. Mama mends us. Mama mends us. Mama mends us. Mama mends us. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much, Catrice, for Mama Mends Us. Oh, I loved it. Absolutely. And just the refrain over and over again, definitely. Beautiful. It's just been, I love it. I love it. It's just like, it's been so rich, so nourishing. I'm pretty sure I got all of our speakers who wanted to share. I'm just going to look through the chat one more time because I don't want to miss anybody, but I'm pretty sure I've gotten everyone who said they wanted to read. Yes, I believe that I did. Okay, let's see. Okay. All right. So we have about 5 minutes left. I'm going to finish us out with this poem I wrote a little while ago. So we'll see how it goes, called The Swamp Birds. We hold it tight inside our bulging eyes, loud, laughing mouths. We hold it tight inside our big bones and wide, weighty stomachs. We hold it tight, tense inside our flaring noses, thick, flat feet. We hold it tight inside the bottom corners of our jaws. We hold it inside our ashy skin and amounts colossal in our hair. The kinky history of screaming mothers and a hanging rope, tangled up in our roots that won't let us forget the middle passage. The strength of God's chained to the journey in hell. Our roots have come up through Africa. We plant in a strange and bloody land of cursed dust. We are force-fed the bitter fruit of reapers. We sing songs of promise, the marked and weary souls. A quiet one day, the yearning of by and by. We hold the unmarked graves of tortured fighters inside, the tearing, the tears, the teats that fed nourishing milk to the foul sucklings. Sucked in our marrow, every part of our bone and being was an experiment in terror. Every time we moved forth in power and dignity, we were slashed, burned, hung, or shot. Posed in positions of powerlessness, told to forgive and forget, we were told to pray. To hold it tight inside, we were told to pray. Look for relief and release in secret chambers to the God given to us. We hold it taut inside. We are full of scars, bullet-ridden dancers moving to high-capacity rhythms, twisting before dying in streets across America, lying to ourselves that life is good. Death and work tangle us in a hostage embrace. The entire race pledge and promise allegiance of damnation with our kidnappers. We swallowed their lies and became infected, festering with their seed. Our legs were forced open. Our virginity was ripped wide and raging. We thank the perverted for their goodness. We lie in their greedy delusions and demand to ascend. Standing on the mountain of oppressed, they multiply in mass production of madness, always seeing but never conceding. We are the Black, brown, beautiful people, generous, loving, hopeful, and graceful. We are powerful, intelligent, creative, inventive, and logical. We are respected, resilient, loyal, peaceful. We are under attack always. Our core attributes crushed to forgetful places, the insistent, vile pecking, a ruthless repetition repeated until our mantra of self becomes low and loathing. We become less and less aware of our true selves, of our true nature, because we hold so much inside. The skeleton swamp is full of blood, bone piles of whispers of language and tribes. The bog stink of pollution rises in anger. Quilted, ragged patchwork is broken apart, each time mended back more meager than before. But there is enough thin silks of gossamer for the knitting. We hold it all inside. We are not letting go to the soulless beyond. We will always honor the grinding ancients. Their pain faces stay with each child born, swaddled in skins of brown cloth. They are the swamp birds singing the harsh cacophony, harbingers in flight of resurrection. We will fly.
Wow.
All right.
Wonderful,
Beautiful.
Brenda. That was wonderful. Powerful.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And Lisa Martin and SSTCI. Thank you so much, Buddah Desmond. Thank you so much, Sister Joy Alford. Thank you so much, all of our lovely, wonderful poets. Thank you so much for our listening audience. You all contributed to the energy, to the spirit, to the beauty of this virtual space. So I'll let Lisa close it out.
Yes, thank you so much, Brenda, for hosting another wonderful Black Voices Through Poetry. You always knock it out of the park. If I can make my sports reference on this football night, sometimes I don't know the difference between football and basketball or baseball, but I know good poetry when I hear it, and you were all just stunning voices, speaking your truth, and we're honored to have you sharing your wonderful work with us. So we hope to see you again. We have a few more Black History Month events coming up, and I think you'll especially enjoy African American culinary traditions on February 22nd. So it should be, or sorry, 28th. The 22nd is the miniaturist doing a journey through African American history in miniature with Karen Collins. So thank you again to all of our poets, especially Sister Joy, Buddah Desmond, and our host, Poet Brenda Bunting. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of the evening, and we'll see you again soon.
May I say one thing before we
Yes.
depart? I just wanted to mention, in case persons